Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to visit our refreshment center during the intermission or any time. You love the tasty array of snacks we have to offer. So will the youngsters. Everything is quality and so good. We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends. There are always wonderful new pictures to see, delightful snacks to nibble, a gay, pleasant evening for all. Oh, a word of caution. Don't drive over 10 miles an hour in the theater area for your safety's sake. And Mom or Pop, go with the kids when they leave the car. We hope you have a wonderful time. Come back soon.
It's 4 minutes till showtime.
Hey, fellas, don't fight over that hot dog. There's plenty for everyone. Big, plump, and juicy, wrapped in an oven-fresh bun. Add mustard, relish, ketchup, and go to work. Yes, the hot dogs at our refreshment center are the best you'll find anywhere. Everybody agrees on that.
It's 3 minutes till showtime.
Thirsty? The refreshment stand is open with everything to satisfy your taste buds. Here's the menu: the hottest, freshest, crunchiest popcorn, each kernel popped to its fullest with that real movie time taste. Cold drinks. You'll find your favorite ice cold, tasty, and thirst quenching. And hot dogs, hamburgers, and candy too. Now a short intermission, so you'll have time to make your selection before the show begins.
It's 2 minutes till showtime.
Your attention, please. All new hotshot electric in-car heaters have been installed for your comfort and convenience. Just insert heater through car window and turn on the switch. When leaving, please turn switch off and replace on speaker post. Warning, high voltage. For your own safety, do not attempt to repair or remove wires. Do not attempt to open heater unit. If you need assistance, please notify the theater box office or concession manager.
Top quality hamburgers, the most popular snack in the country. We serve them plain or garnished to your taste.
There are words men live by, words of strength, of wisdom, and of peace. We urge you to find the spiritual comfort and guidance we all so greatly need by attending your place of worship regularly.
Just 1 minute to go.
And now, on with the show.
No, that's not big enough. No, that's not big enough either. That's more like it. We're delighted to have you with us, and we extend a cordial welcome to you. We've lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on our giant screen with the new, colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading about. To add to your enjoyment, we're all wound up to bowl you over at intermission time with live wire service at our snack bar, where you'll find a tempting variety of favorite foods and beverages. Your continued patronage is very, very welcome.
There we go. That's better. Hello, fellow humans. Welcome to my stream. Playing around with some new layouts and stuff, and I realized I actually don't have a microphone attached to my other screen layouts. So I'll have to do that. We are playing a bunch of games at the moment. We got the Comet Nano running. Right, so we've got the Comet Nano running. We have got 4 NL Cash running. Well, actually, we got the Comet Nano, we got the Dark Matter Nano. We got 4 NL Cash playing our ticket, up 95 cents. And we also have the DeVitch free roll happening. So we got 4 tables running at the moment. Quite a lot of action, and I'm actually having a little bit of trouble keeping up, to be perfectly honest with you at the moment. I just timed out of a bunch of hands, and I think I folded a hand on the cash table that I could have pulled in a bunch of pennies with, unfortunately. But I folded it because I timed out while I was doing some other things. Anyways, we are here on here at Unibet. The main thing that should be fun is the 4NL cash ticket we're playing today. We don't play cash particularly. So this is interesting. We just got walked to with pair of 9s. That's a little tilting. We are up a buck. We bought in for 4. We bought in for 4, and we are up a buck. So, not doing so bad yet. We ended up having a hero call down with a pretty weak flush on a 4 spade board with like 6-8 of spades against Rocker, who was trying to bluff us with pair of aces and no spade. So we ended up calling that down. That got us an extra. But otherwise, we've been pretty. Things been pretty quiet. Otherwise, put in a raise on the button with my King 10, obviously. I'd actually prefer that this was 9-handed, to be honest. I prefer a larger ring game to a smaller one, especially in a cash game where I'm not entirely sure what the heck I'm doing. But that said, I'm pretty happy to keep going. So we've been 3-bet out of position. I think we're just going to call behind with our 10s and see what happens here. We've got position. So I think we just call behind. And we flop a set on a straighty board with flushy draws. So I think that given how wet that board is, I think I need to put a raise in at this point. And I mean, I think we call off here. We got outs even if he's hit the straight, and if he's on flush draws or pairs, we're, two pairs, we've got it. I think. Oh, let me think for a second. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can ever fold a set here, so we're calling off. Yeah, and he had the. I mean, that's just going to be one of those situations where I think I have to call off and go broke when he's got the king queen, and double up when he's bluffing. And every once in a while he's got the king queen, and I pair up and hit my set, or hit my house and take it down there too. But so I'm not. I mean, obviously my ticket's gone here. I could have played that a little bit slower perhaps instead of raise. But I mean, I think given how wet that flop is, I think I'm either folding a set there, which seems absurd, or I'm playing it the way I played it. So I'm pretty happy with that bust. I'm obviously not happy to bust, but I'm not totally upset. And I to be perfectly honest, I completely expected. I completely expected to blow off this ticket in cash. I did not really expect to run it up. I'm not sure if I could have cashed out when I had €5 or not. I think I would have had to play. I think I would have had to play. I think I would have had to play it out at least a little bit more before I could cash out my ticket anyways. Although I could have tried before I got into that hand. Cool. So we're Dark Matter Nano. We just picked up aces. That's never a terrible thing. We're going to put in a raise, of course. And we've actually got ace king on the Comet as well. So we're going to put in a raise over there as well. So no more cash. We've lost the cash. But like I said, I'm not terribly surprised by the fact that I busted the cash. This is actually a really good flop for our hand. I think that we're always ahead here with the aces, and we block both flushes, and we've got the nut heart for a backdoor as well. So I mean, I don't think. Obviously, there's going to be, well, I mean, not obviously, there's going to be Jack 9 out there occasionally, but I honestly don't think that they're going to be around all that much. I think that instead what we're actually going to be seeing is an ace jack and ace 9, hands like that are here with us. So we're just going to keep valuing down. Nice little pickup there in the Dark Matter. Pair of deuces. I think I'm just going to get rid of that, to be honest. That's probably super nitty, but... So the 4L cash ticket didn't last very long. I didn't really expect it to be perfectly honest. I'm absolutely not a cash player, and I wasn't... the way we went out wasn't terrible, I don't think. I suppose we could have played it, but I mean, it was just a cooler, right? I set over straight, flop set over straight. What are you gonna, or flop straight over set, I guess is the way to say that. I can't get away from that, I don't think. Well, I should probably change my title since I'm not playing 4L cash anymore, and I quickly lost out on that one. So just a recap of what we actually are playing here. We got the Dark Matter Nano is the one we're looking at the moment, as you can see. Added some titles up here in the top left-hand corner, so hopefully it will help. Hopefully it will help everyone, including myself, identify what games we're playing. So we've got the Dark Matter going there. I've got the Davich free roll running in the background where we've just put in a raise with ace jack. and we get shoved on. I think we're calling this off given the stack sizes at the moment and where we are. So, I mean, yeah, I think we're always calling this off. We're probably in bad shape in some cases, but sorry about that. Just had to do a little bit of work in the background, answer a question. We're gonna be all in the Devich free roll where our ace jack went poorly for us there, and we've now got like 3 big blinds, so we're either doubling or we're done. One of the two. I just binked into so we're done in the Devich. I just binked into a hell of a backdoor straight on the dark matter table. All right, so we're done in Devich. No surprise again there. That one's it's another one that goes pretty quick, or you either build a stack or you're done pretty quick in that one usually. So we are down to just the dark matter nano and the comet nano. For the record, we final tabled both of these yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, we final tabled both of these yesterday. Final tabled the comet and the dark matter. A pair of 4s here. I'm gonna try to put in a raise here and try to take it down pre. Don't really want to. I end up doing a set mine anyways. But since I've got the betting lead, I can maybe take this down here on the flop. So Ninja's the one that we just sucked out on. So I think they're steaming, frankly. Steaming would be a very good way to put that. That was a little gross, but he was obviously steaming from the hand where we backed into the straight on him. So he'll be an unhappy camper. So that puts us in first place in the dark matter. So we'll see if we can run that. We'll see if we can run that down to the final. On the other hand, on the oops, no, that's not the one I want. What do we got here? Here we go. So on the comet, on the other hand, we are near the bottom because we've not been doing great. So yeah, I added some graphics and stuff to hopefully make things a little bit more stable, move some stuff around, added some new numbers to my bankroll tracker. I think made it a little easier to read. So people are telling me I should share the clip of me trying to pronounce David Vanderheyden's name. I think it's Vanderheyden, but I mean, being a Canadian, I am never gonna pronounce it properly, even if I make the greatest effort until I develop a Dutch or Belgian uh, accent, unfortunately, because it's just not we just don't speak that way with us. So David Vanderheyden, I think. I will cut a clip of that, and I will post the clip. I will post the clip. So yeah, it's kind of a tale of two tournaments. We're although we just picked up a pot on the comment, so it's actually not as bad as it was. So it's actually not quite as bad as it was. But we are still first in the dark matter. Be pretty nice to go back-to-back final tables 2 days in a row in these two tournaments. If I keep folding 8-3 and it comes 8-3 deuce on the flop, it's gonna be a little harder to go back-to-back, but it's a bit of a speculative hand over here on the Comet. I threw in a call in position with a suited 8-10. I think we're going to put in a bet with our second pair. So, I mean, I guess check calling my bet and then donk leading the ace on the turn is an ace, right? That's always an ace. There can never be anything other than an ace, right? Or queen jack, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. My 8-10 is behind. My 8-10 is behind. Rid of the 10-6. I just put in a raise over on the dark matter table. Ace-10 in fairly early position. And we get squeezed on by Sablari. I'm positive I played them before, but I can't remember what my read would be on them. So I'm just going to get out of the way. Don't need to put that many chips at risk at this point in time. So we are well out in front in the dark matter tournament now. We're 7,000 chips ahead of the next place stack. It's always a nice place to be in at this point in the tournament. Reg will be closing relatively soon. folded a gut shot straight draw on the Comet table. So we got ace king. I think we're going to put in a raise. Button raise could make it look like we're just being silly. I think we need to c-bet this flop as well. Our ace king can obviously be the best hand. We're going to have the jacks when they're there, I think. So when everybody else misses that flop, I'm taking that down pretty much all the time, whether the ace king is the best there or not. So yeah, it's 25 minutes left in Reg for the dark matter. There's only 6 places getting paid right now, so it's a pretty small field so far. What do we have? We got only 34 players total so far, which is a very small field. Even for dark matter, it's a small field. So yeah, I guess we don't have quite as much of a lead anymore. Cibulari's closing in on us now, but that's definitely another raise with king 9. Not a huge fan of king 9, to be honest. It's really unlikely that you flop the nuts with king 9. In fact, barring flops that have all kings, all nines, or a bunch of kings and nines on them, or straight flush cards, no hand that you flop with king 9 is ever a nut hand. You flop straight, and ace king is better than you. You flop 2 pair, and there's straights out there. You flop a flush, and the ace high flush is out there. There is no hand. King 9 is absolutely not my favorite hand. Of course, we just lost to a king 6 with that, which is never a lot of fun. But in many ways, I'd actually prefer to be in the hand with king 6 than with king 9, because with king 6, you know where you are in the hand, generally speaking. When you hit it, you're going to hit it. When you don't, you're not. With king 9, like I say, you can hit it and it just be a complete nightmare. Sort of like my 10s into the straight thing on the cash tables. On the cash table today. So we busted the Devish free roll earlier today. We busted our 4NL cash ticket in glorious, spectacular fashion, which is sort of exactly what I expected to happen when I played my 4NL cash ticket. That it would either end in me booking out for 12 euros or something, or it would end with me with a big fat zero on the bank account, and the big fat zero was the more likely case, I think, in that. I mean, I think I got it in right, and I think it was it was just one of those hands where it's destined to go in. I got re-raised. I raised on the button. I got re-raised by the small blind. I called in position with 10s. Flop comes 9-10 Jack. Check, bet, raise. And, I mean, I suppose at that point, well, actually, check, bet, shove. Raise, shove. So at that point, basically, I was deciding to fold a set or call it off. I figured I had to bet on that flop because of the because of how wet it was, and he shows up with king queen. So I mean, it's just one of those spots. Even when I call off there, I'm still calling off with pretty reasonable chances to hit quads or a full house to beat any hand that he's actually made at that point. So I'm pretty happy. It's just one of those spots in poker where one of the two of us is going to lose all of our money there, and it happened to be me that time. I've actually got pairs on both tables right now. I got 5s here on the dark matter, and I got 8s on the comet. The 8s don't look like they're in great shape at the moment. Huh, funny. It's almost exactly the same flop on both tables as well. King, queen 3, king, queen 4. Slightly different colors, but check behind now with the 8s here. I think it's lots of over cards. It's a pretty gross board for my 8s. A little less gross for the 5s on the other table. So yeah, I mean, I think at this point I got really very little chance of winning when I call there. Get rid of the 9-7. Drop down to 3rd place in the dark matter, but we still got a nice stack over there. Things are still going. Things are still going well. We got our break coming up soon. Got a whole bunch of new commercials to run up today. And I think that'll be the one that we... Alrighty, so we're on break, and I will see you back in a few minutes.
Honey West is brought to you by Sweeta, the concentrated no-calorie sweetener from Squib. Sweeta, the little giant of sweeteners.
Neat and quick, the freshest stick is deodorant stick by Old Spice. You're fresh each hour from shower to shower with deodorant stick by Old Spice.
Yes, here's deodorant protection you can trust. Old Spice Stick. Goes on faster, never sticky. Feels better. Gives you a man's kind of freshness. Try it.
You're fresh each hour from shower to shower with deodorant stick by Old Spice.
Why do so many single men use Old Spice aftershave lotion? Let's ask one. Dave, what are your reasons?
Well, let's see. There's Julie, and Karen, and Peggy, Joelle, and Sandy, and Beth, and Bridget.
Yes, Dave, thanks. That's the way it is with Old Spice. If you're single, or even if you're not, try Old Spice aftershave lotion.
Honey West has been brought to you by the Consolidated Cigar Corporation, makers of El Producto, the cigar of natural mildness.
Here's George Burns for El Producto Cigars.
Oh, Mr. Burns, my first movie premiere.
I'll never forget my first picture, a comedy.
Oh, was it a silent movie?
No, the audience were silent. But why spoil the evening? I'd rather be spoiled by this El Producto cigar. Once you try an El Producto, you won't see anything less. That's because they're mild. Naturally mild.
Oh, Mr. Burns, is this one of your new discoveries?
Oh, no. I've been smoking El Producto cigars for years. Why don't you join me? Just ask your dealer for Georgia's cigar, El Producto.
For a taste of real smoking luxury, it's the naturally mild El Producto Corona. 3 for 50 cents.
The smaller your education, the smaller the job you'll get. To get a good job, get a good education. If you're in school, stay there. If you've left school, there's valuable training outside the classroom. To get a good job, get a good education.
Most aftershave lotions give you a quick alcohol, but this is a cooling aftershave treat that lasts as long as your shave. New High Sierra Ice by Menon. High Sierra's concentrated ingredients stay with you. They treat your face to cool comfort and a manly scent. Treat your face to a refreshing sensation that lasts as long as your shave. Get Menon's new High Sierra Aftershave Ice.
Oh, you're gonna have a baby. Relax. Have a pickle and buy some Baby Magic lotion. A special protection for newborns against skin irritation. Look, Baby Magic here. Other leading lotion here. I've been dying to show this to someone. See? Baby Magic protects longer, even when baby's wet. Oh, they love their baby powder, too. Of course, it's by Menon.
You people of all ages, the United Way. Give today.
Dippity-doo.
You,
Dippity-doo.
for setting your hair.
Dippity-doo.
Rollers.
Dippity-doo.
Easy, neat.
Dippity-doo.
No slips, no drips.
Dippity-doo. Dippity-doo. Dippity-doo.
Real body.
Dippity-doo.
Holes and holes.
Dippity-doo.
You.
For you.
Jenny! Welcome home! I say, your hair looks marvelous. Did you learn that in the States?
Rather. New hairspray they have. White rain hairspray. Holds even in the rain.
Oh? Why's that?
Haven't the foggiest. They say it has little in the spray. It's that moisture-proof.
If it holds on a day like this, my dear, it holds.
It's the holdingest.
Hello, folks. We're back. At the moment, I've got the same games going on a bunch of these screens, but this is actually one of the layouts I'm playing with for four-table streaming when I've got it. I'll go back to my main so we can see the big stuff. So still got a decent stack in the dark matter, second to 29, 45 players total there. We got 8 people getting paid in that one. Eight seems wrong. It says there's 29 left and says 20 and 21 is the min cash, but that seems weird. That seems weird. The Comet is only being paid 6 at the moment, 45 people total in that one. So it looks like 45 total in both Comet and Dark Matter Nanos. This is exactly why I didn't raise my 6s from the small blinds, because Now we just end up with a bloated pot because everybody else calls behind. I'll bet. As I said, so we just end up with a bloated pot. Doesn't seem like the best move in the world, frankly, but let's see what we get. Obviously, it would have been nice to have flopped our set on that one, but I mean, pot odds, right? I'm getting 10 to 1 pot odds. And I've definitely got chips I can collect from all these stacks when I hit my set. So I think, I mean, I don't know. Somehow I feel like I'm not thinking about that right, but it strikes me that I can't actually possibly fold there. And I won't be able to fold for 600 on the river either. For 15 to 1. I mean, because when I hit my 6, I take all of these stacks. So, or when the deuce comes. Now, well, that one's a little bit trickier because any king or higher pair, and I'm in trouble. So the 6 was really what I was looking for, but seems unlikely there's another deuce out there. But I do think that given how we got to this point in the hand, there's a king out here a lot, which means my 6s are dead to a king. So yeah, I think we've got to get out of the way. It hurts because we're folding a full house, but I think we got to. I think we have to because I think there's just too many kings out there amongst those 3 hands. That was a painful fold, but it's always nice when your painful fold was actually correct. So I mean, it would have been gross to have seen a bunch of people bluffing ace high there. But just don't think that happens very often in that spot. I think I have too many kings, for one thing. So I'm a little surprised with how frisky 8G 8 got when with 10s, to be honest, with the king out there. It's like I say, I mean, it's at that point, I'm looking at 3 other hands saying I think that there's always a king out there. I don't have it, so therefore somebody else probably does. You know, I'd folded by the time it got to him. He's in tilt mode, it looks like. I'd folded by the time it got to him, but you know, so he's only looking at 2 hands, but still, you got to look at 2 hands out there at that point and figure out how we got to the hand and think there's going to be a king out there. So I mean, I think we just put him all in at this point because he's clearly just snap raised us, and we just sucked out on him. Dirty binkage, but I'll take it. I mean, you know, it's poker, right? Dirty. So the Comet is going, I'm down near the bottom of the ranks there. Still got quite a few big blinds, of course, because it's like a absurdly deep structure on this one. I mean, I've still got like 50 big blinds, and I'm sixth in the bottom. So it's one of the things I love about the Comet is it's a ridiculously deep structure. But what it also means is that we don't even, I mean, Reg doesn't even close for another, it's like an hour from now, right? It's like after 1 that it closes. Yeah, it's like an hour and 2 minutes away from now before Reg closes in the Comet. And when I final tabled, I came fourth yesterday, and or sixth. Oh, I final tabled yesterday, anyways. And when I did, it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon by the time I did it. Which, you know, for me, it's noon right now. So it's like a 5-6 hour tournament when you go deep in it. So you put in a raise with a suited ace in relatively early position over here. Gonna see bet there. I'm not actually sure what my c-bet is supposed to be saying at that point, other than I bet with the best hand pre-flop, and I still think I have the best hand. But I don't know. I'm always getting played back at when he hits that flop with a jack, and probably never with when he hits the deuce. It's jack, jack, deuce, right? Yeah, probably never when he hits the deuce. Probably always when he hits the jack. But I think when I go check, if it goes check, check there, then I lose on the turn quite a bit because it's tough to face a bet, and I probably will. So I'm going to opt for the delayed c-bet on this one. It's obviously not a terrible flop for my range, but I just think a delayed this time is. It's frustrating when you have to fold out with hands this strong, but I just don't think. I mean, I think he's going to have a king there often enough. He's going to have an 8 there. He's going to have a king or an 8 there very often with the ace on the other side. So I'm basically, I think I'm needing to hit my queen there, and even that's not necessarily gonna do it for me. There's bottom pair with backdoor diamonds, some backdoor straights. So now we got 10s and 8s with front door diamonds. We're going to keep checking. We're definitely not going anywhere at this point. Nice. Nice little bankage there. Get rid of the 5-8. I do want to actually want to say thanks a lot to Devish for the host yesterday. That was really awesome to see everybody come over, and it was awesome to see all the folks from the Unibet Ambassador streams that I've been interacting with come over and check the place out. So that was really awesome. And I really do, as much as I'm not a cash game player, I actually really do enjoy his streams. So, Mr. Vanderhayden, thank you very much for the follow, and thank you very much for the host. I am very much grateful for that. I'd like to be able to make some interesting poker content. Got no illusions that I'm any sort of poker master. I'm absolutely a low stakes kind of guy. I always have been. I'm not super rich in the real world. I'm not super poor in the real world either, but I'm not super rich, and I don't have excess income to spend on high stakes poker. My attitude's always been, if I'm good enough to play higher stakes games, I'll make the money to play higher stakes games and lower stakes games. Up until I started this free roll challenge on Unibet, that theory didn't work real well. I was pretty much break even player at any stakes that I tried to play at on a lot of the other sites that I've played at, and I'm not even close to a break even player in the live world. It's obviously it's tough in there because the results your result set is so tiny, so variance makes such a huge difference. But yeah, I don't do that well in the live setting as far as my results are concerned. In fact, I think if you look on my Hendon Mod page under Lyle Bateman, you'll find that I've got some grand total of like £200 worth of cashes recorded, which isn't entirely accurate because I've won a couple of other small, well, not one, I've cashed a couple of other small tournaments in Canada that weren't recorded with Hendon. And I have won, ironically, my two biggest scores in poker, live poker, are winning 2 satellite tickets to WPT main events in Montreal in 2013 and 2014. I won live satellites both years to get to win tickets for the main. In 2013, I sold my ticket for a huge profit. I think I tried to satellite in 3 times, so I spent $300, and I sold the ticket for $3,000. So I had a $2,700 win, quote unquote win on that Saturday tournament because I sold it. So the next year I go back and I win another Saturday tournament, and I figure, well, I mean, I sold it last year, I got to play this year, right? Busted halfway through day one. It was in a gross spot where I got kings into aces, and in a spot where I actually knew I was getting kings into aces, and I still did it. It was one of those very maddening, frustrating situations where I knew exactly what was going on. I opened in middle position with my kings. The big blind 3-bets me. It folds back around to me, and I 4-bet, and the big blind flats. And as soon as he flats, I'm like, okay, this is kings versus aces. Of course it is. Of course it's kings versus aces. Ace king X came on the flop. So I'm like, okay, I improved to a set, but so did he, because I know he's got aces, right? It doesn't matter. I still put my money in the middle, and I still lost. So it was one of those situations where I knew exactly what was going on. I knew exactly what the right play was, and I did the exact opposite. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I mean, it's obviously one of those setup situations too. I mean, getting dealt kings into aces and then having the flop come ace king X is a pretty absurd situation, right? No, but anyway, so I mean, I've actually won like close to $7,000 in satellite ticket wins. But when it actually comes time to play the actual events for like money, I suck. I just can't. Don't go through very often. I do like live poker though; it's fun. There's something about playing with chips. In fact, it's kind of funny. There is something about playing with chips, such that I actually have a stack of chips that I play with while I'm playing online sometimes, just to be able to play with poker chips. Alrighty, so we got a pair of queens here in the Comet, and we're gonna put in a bet, and we're gonna face some action here. I think Nomi's been very active against us, so have a lot of players at the table. We've been relatively passive. I'm actually surprised to see the sort of insta-folds going on there. Wow. Wow, how do we just raise and take it with queens there? That's just gross. That is just gross. I mean, I suppose it's better than raise and lose it with queens, but, you know. I like that flop for our hand. I think that's a fairly good flop for our cards. We're going to put some money in on this turn now. I really feel like I want to call with this ace-9, but I know that not the ace-9 is just too weak in the spot, I think, being out of position. It looks so pretty, both being hearts, though. Looks so pretty. Looks so pretty. But unfortunately, it's just too weak. Oh, so I wasn't actually able to meet my mission goal. I needed to play more flops. Unfortunately, in the cash game, I ended up getting my money on uh, in a cooler just really early, so I didn't see enough flops to make it to make it into my. Hopefully, I'll win another ticket before the end of the month, and I can complete that mission. So I think we'll do the delayed on this. I mean, all those diamonds on there, it's not the greatest. Not the greatest for a hand. Although, I mean, ace high is going to be good here some of the time. It's enough to try to take some value out. So we turn the straight, or we river the straight, which I don't think he actually has diamonds, but I mean, if he does, I think we're just done. Wow, he did have diamonds. Yeah, well done. Well done. So we're done with the Comet. We are done with the Comet. I honestly didn't think he had diamonds. But, I guess I was wrong. Alrighty, so our only game left is the Dark Matter, where we're doing quite well. So hopefully that will work for us. Hopefully we can do something there. We're 8 of 16 with 8 players to go until the money. So only 8 players getting paid in this one. And we are on the money bubble at the moment. Considering we were first for a long time, not the greatest result, but it's the way our tournaments tend to go. There's a lot of times where we're in this spot and we still end up cashing deep. I mean, yesterday we were right down near the bottom of the Dark Matter tables right up until the cashing went, and then boom, we rolled it up a couple of times and ended up on the final table. Get out of the way with King 3. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everybody. It's always nice to be out here. We're down to one table left, just the Dark Matter Nano going. We just busted the Comet. We busted the Divish free roll. We busted our NL cash ticket in glorious fashion. Our 4 NL cash ticket in glorious fashion. Raised a pair of 10s in the cutoff. Got 3-bet by the small blind. I put in the call with 10s. Flop comes 9-10 jack. And fireworks ensue, because I've got a set of 10s and he's called with the king queen. So yeah, all the money went in the middle, and he held, and I didn't hit my quads or my full house. I mean, I figure he's doing that with other sets. I figure he's doing that with overpairs sometimes. I mean, I figure he doesn't have to be doing that with his king queen. So I think that's just a spot where I'm always going broke, but I don't know. King high's good here a lot. I have showdown value. The chip counts are really tight there. You could just see that little increase of a couple thousand chips in that pot. It's enough to move me from 8th to 5th. So there's a lot of people hovering around that 20 grand mark. Well, let's look on the bright side. Let's look on the positive. Let's find the silver lining in our cloud today. We busted everything else, so we could focus on the Dark Matter and take this puppy down today. 304 up top. So I added some numbers to my bankroll tracker. Now we've got the tracking the total number of tournaments that I've entered. Well, and tournaments is actually probably the wrong word. Total number of events or things that I've bought into. And I say that because there's now a sit and go and a 4NL cash ticket and a couple of Hexapros in that mix as well, just because of tickets that I've won and so on. So those 221 aren't all tournaments, and in fact they also wouldn't include things like free rolls that I don't get any cash in. I don't see any reason to add those to my bankroll tracker because they don't actually affect my bankroll per se. So that's a kind of a rough number, but it's, I figure, a good enough estimate. And what that actually allows me to do is figure out what my average buy-in has been, which is 36 cents, which is actually a little higher than I was expecting it to be. I was thinking it's going to be somewhere down around 20 cents at the moment. But so I guess we're starting to move up. Of course, as I win more, I'm sure that that's going to increase because I will be playing larger field tournaments. There's going to be some skewing in that as well because there will be the odd large buy-in game that didn't actually cost me money to enter, but is still reflected in those numbers, if that makes sense, because I min cashed in it or got a bounty or something like that and had to record money coming into my account based on it. And I didn't necessarily pay money to get into the tournament in those cases. So, but regardless, it's 36 cents is interesting. I like to see that. I like to see that increase over the next little time. And we're actually winning 42 cents per tournament that we enter based on the numbers, and that's actually a fairly. I think that's actually a fairly good return from my perspective, I think. I mean, at this point, I think if I have an average return that's higher than my average buy-in, I think that's probably going to be a pretty good. I'm probably going to have pretty good results from that. We're still up over 205% ROI for money spent versus money won, which is pretty cool. More than double what we spent has come back to us. Kind of like that. But I think now is just when it starts getting tricky, frankly. Not that it's been super easy up to this point, but I'm starting to move into games that I think are going to be more competitive and that I'm going to have more trouble beating, I think, and have more trouble figuring out what people are doing. We'll see when we get there. I do better in the €1 Falling Star than I sort of expected to last few days and the few times I played it. So, wow, I would have lost a huge number of chips in that hand. I was just watching where I folded the Jack 4, and I'm looking at the Jacks come out of the board going, shit, I wish it was in this hand. But dude Get Punked had the Case Jack with a Queen kicker. Just would have crushed my little soul. It's one of the reasons why I'm more cautious in the kind of hands I play, because you get yourself into spots like that where you look like you've got a massive hand, But because you're playing so wide, you're there with a crappy kicker, and you just get you just get crushed. So. I mean, certainly out of position, it's probably never going to be a good idea to call with hands like that. And I'm pretty sure I was out of position in that hand. I think it was small blind, that one, if I'm not mistaken. No, I don't have that excuse. I wasn't out of position. I was on the button for that hand. So, oh well. Don't have that excuse. Four to go now. I think I should probably see a flop with my Jack-10. That's not the flop I wanted to see with my Jack-10, frankly, but... I mean, I don't believe he's hit the flop, and I don't believe he necessarily has a pair pre-flop. But he's still going to have better ace highs or better high hands than I have most of the time. So there are better spots. There are better spots for me. We're not in any sort of super duper rush at this point, because we've seen in this tournament people will blow off bigger stacks than me. Interesting to see what Glog does here. I think Loofboom's got a 7, frankly. I think he's got quads. We'll never know, but I'm pretty sure that Loofboom had quads, and Glog probably had an ace. That's what he was trying to make us think he had anyways. Hello, new viewers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just saw my viewer count jump. Welcome to the stream. We're no longer playing 4-0 cash. We busted that in glorious fashion, relatively quickly. Actually, I didn't even manage to make my bonus mission with it because I didn't play 10 flops before I lost my buy-in. But it's a pretty gross spot. I think it was tens. I flopped a set of tens on a 9-10 jack board, and the opponent had king queen, of course. So, and I did not get there. Faced a shove on the flop, and I don't think I could ever fold a set of tens there. That's way too exploitable. And we just busted the Comet a couple of minutes ago. In a spot where we riveted the straight against somebody who had flopped the flush and slow played it. What are you going to do? Again, life is cruel and unfair, and poker's even worse sometimes. So that's the way it goes. However, we're doing reasonably well here in the dark matter. We're coming up on the bubble for the money, and for a while we were running first. But obviously, as you can see, we are not running first anymore. Actually, very lucky here in the dark matter. We got we backed into a straight very early against the player on our left, who, admittedly they overplayed a single pair hand, but they lost a bunch of chips to us on that hand, and then basically gifted their stack to us the following hand, which put us in the chip lead, the massive chip lead right off, very close to the start of the tournament. We sort of coasted since then, so coasted downhill, as you can see, into the right around the bubble position. But again, I'm not that. With 20 big blinds at this point, I'm not that terrified. I'm not that worried about the position I'm in. And I've played this tournament enough, and I've watched enough bigger stacks than what I have bust out to give someone in my position a cash. So. And once you get in the cash, you can always run it up. You can always run it up. I just made like clockwork for level 3. 12 different streams this month. Cool. Get rid of the 4-3. Well, that's cool. I just noticed that I can do reruns of things. One of these days, I think I might sit down and do a restream of the 25 game that I played at Full Tilt way back in the day. That was so much fun. Such an absurd game. I mean, they had to dig pretty deep in the barrel to find 25 variants of poker to put down. And I was playing games I had literally never played before, figuring out the rules as we went along. But it came eighth, so it was a lot of fun. That was back when I was doing the Anything But Hold'em stream, and I was playing a ton of mixed games like horse and 8 game and all the weird varieties like Badoogie and Deuce to Seven and all that sort of stuff as much as I could. So that was right up my alley, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't do as well in something like that anymore because I just don't play the mixed games nearly as much anymore. Obviously, I can't play mixed games here on Unibet. It would be cool if I could, but yeah. So I would still though jump at the chance to play another big mix like that with some sort of a dealer's choice online would be awesome. I don't know how you do it. The software would be really weird, but doing a dealer's choice online would be very cool. Dealer's choice with like 12 or 15 games in there. But yeah, I mean, on the 25 game at Tilt, there was, I mean, we played 5-card stud. We played, what other weird games did we play? We played Irish, which wasn't that weird for Full Tilt. Full Tilt had Irish games, but it was the only site that ever did. We played Ace to 5. We played No Limit, Deuce to 7, Triple Draw. You want to talk about a big game? No Limit, Deuce to 7, Triple Draw plays massively. It's like if you don't know what's going on, I mean, the number of stacks that just got in without even sort of realizing where they were going in that was astonishing. I mean, it was that is a totally absurd game to play. Pretty sure there was a 6-card PLO high-low game as well, which just about made my head explode. To be perfectly honest, with the amount of calculations that had to go in on that, but it was a load of fun. It was a load of fun. So I might have to restream that. So we're 3 to go to the money. We're right on the bubble. 9th with 8 people paying. Once again, given the spot, I'm not that worried about where I am. I'd obviously like to pick up some chips, but not desperate to pick up chips, and I don't need to go too crazy and risk the chips that I do have trying to do so. Because, we could totally see somebody with a bigger stack than me just blow it off right now. And, end up handing us some cash. It happens quite a bit. Debating whether I'm going to register the Titan today or not. It was such an orgy of pain yesterday and the day before that I think I might have to take a break from that one for a while. I was just getting stomped on every time I stuck my head up. Somebody was whacking it with a whack-a-mole club. And there we have it, folks. Somebody with a bigger stack than me just blows it off in a situation where, frankly, it wasn't necessary. Certainly not in the spot that they did it, frankly. There might be times when you lose a pair of jacks to a pair of aces there, but he had no reason to open shove there. I think that's what he did, right? Open shove with the jacks. Whoops. Yeah, well, Glog opened, and then he shoves 27 big blinds over top as a 3-bet. So it's not a hugely out of line 3-bet shove, but it's frankly unnecessary at this stage when you have a cashing stack, and we're close to the bubble. It's unnecessary to do that, I think. At any other point in the tournament, I'm probably playing my ace-high backdoor hearts here a lot more aggressively. And that's probably a flaw in the leak in my play in a larger sense. But I get results in these nano games specifically with the way that I choose to approach the bubbles. I'm convinced of that. So I think this is our value bet. I considered actually throwing out a bet there on the flop with my ace of diamonds, but that just puts us in scoring position with 2 players to go. For the record, I think I got a little lucky with that ace-6 there. That's probably not a hand I should be calling from out of position there. And my explanation for what I did, because I just sort of had a feeling, is a really bad explanation as well. So just kind of ignore that. I really feel like I could have open folded this hand, but in the cutoff at this stage, 5-handed, I think I need to put the pressure on, and I should get a fair amount of respect with. I've raised like nothing in the last little while at this table, so of course, then there's Glog deciding he's going to shove on me, which frankly strikes me as an attempt to get me off the pot rather than an actual hand, because I think if he's got an actual hand, he prefers a smaller raise or just a call at that point. So I think we're calling for a tournament life. Wow. 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 I mean, I think we had to make that call eventually, and I think it was, I think eventually, but it's not an easy spot, and it's not, not an easy spot by any stretch. Well, that pretty much guarantees us a cash in this dark matter, and probably something like a final table. I shouldn't actually say that. There's still poker to play, and we could blow up just as much as anybody else does. And Glog does it again. Gets there. That puts us on the money bubble. I am 4 of 9. I'm pretty happy with top pair and a value bet. Alrighty, so we got a break coming up. Let's back to some more 50s ads. We'll see you in a bit.
Now, from Hunt's, Steakhouse Catsup. Made for meat. A hearty new steakhouse taste. Made for meat. New Steakhouse Catsup. It's one of the 4 big tomato catsups from Hunt's. There's regular, hickory, pizza, and new Steakhouse Catsup. Made for meat.
To make fried chicken crisp on the outside, moist on the inside, you've got to get the oil hot enough. Wesson is pure vegetable oil. At frying temperatures, it won't burn like butter, won't smoke like solid shortening, won't smell like oils that need preservatives. Wesson makes fried foods crisp. Wesson, the crisp oil.
This is the FBI. Drop your weapons and put up your hands.
Fighting enemies of the United States is the job of the FBI. Enemies whose crimes are frequently more fantastic than fiction. Inspector Lou Erskine is one of this special breed of dedicated FBI men who protect our country from the enemy within. Watch the FBI in action color on A.
In the quiet moments, there are no words. The important things you say with your eyes. Make sure your eyes are eloquent, beautiful. Make sure with Maybelline, the eye makeup that brings out hidden loveliness. With Maybelline, even eyes like these quickly and easily become eloquent eyes. Remember, the important things are said with your eyes. Maybelline makes even ordinary eyes important. Discover Ultra Brow, with the contour brush that softly shapes expressive brows. Ultra Shadow veils soft color with brush-on ease. Maybelline Fluid Eyeliner adds depth and expression. And Ultra Lash Mascara, the duo taper brush softly colors, curls, builds, lengthens. What will your eyes say to him tonight? Will they be silent, or will they be beautifully eloquent with Maybelline? The finest in eye makeup and sensibly priced is always Maybelline.
1, 2, 3, ready or not, here I come.
Dirt hides in elbows, dirt hides in knees, but dirt can't hide from intensified Tide.
Ready or not, Dirt, here comes new Intensified Tide.
Intensified? So what?
So it's the strongest Tide in detergent history. Dirt can't hide from Intensified Tide.
Prove it.
Hide Tommy's dirty socks inside his dirty shirt.
What?
Now, hide the shirt inside the pants leg.
Okay.
Put 'em with your regular wash load and Intensified Tide.
No detergent will get those hidden socks clean.
Well?
Pants are clean. Shirts clean. Amazing. Even the inside socks are clean, heel to toe. Knees, elbows, everything's cleaner looking. Can't hide from Intensified Tide.
Dirt can't hide from Intensified Tide.
Strongest Tide in detergent history.
Jewels for your eyes. See what sparkling color can do. Beautiful jewel tone colors in fine eye makeup by Maybelline. Changes ordinary unadorned eyes to beautiful glowing eyes. Discover Maybelline fluid liners like liquid jewels to give eyes depth and dazzle. Maybelline Ultra Shadows like soft powder jewels. Choose turquoise, shimmers like a tropic sea. Jade green like precious oriental jade. Dazzling sapphire blue, subtle amber brown or blue pearl gray. With Maybelline Ultra Brow soft brush-on color, Ultra Lash Mascara for longest lashes. What beauty treasure. Unadorned eyes look plain. Maybelline eyes are dazzling, jewel beautiful. Jewels for your eyes. The finest in eye makeup and sensibly priced is always Maybelline. A blade so strong. A blade so...
And we're back. Just in time for Ace 4 on the button. We are... We are on the money bubble here in the Dark Matter Nano. 39 cents for the min cash in one spot. We got 304 up top. 304 would push our bankroll up over the 50 euro mark, which would be pretty awesome. Haven't quite peaked up over top of that line yet. I mean, it's not really significant in any way, but it's psychologically significant, right, to hit those sorts of lines. I love this ad. I'm just watching my previous ads. The FBI in color and a black and white ad. I thought was just wonderful. See that with some of the Kodak ads that I run from time to time as well. There's they've got a whole series of black and white ads where they try to extol the colors or the advantages of color photography. But of course they can't actually show you any of the color because it's black and white television. So a little bit tricky for them to work with that. It's actually a lot of fun to watch. Um, and we often don't think about the sorts of limitations that people had to work with back in the day and deal with. I mean, there was whole whole forms and genres that developed around limitations in the form. Um, back before you could easily record and play television programs, that limitation forced live TV. You almost never see live TV anymore. I mean, live news, things like that. Occasionally, you've got like variety shows, things like that that come on live, but nobody, no, the quote unquote live world has moved into the streaming world these days now. It's only people like us that are out streaming actual events or that are doing things live anymore. Almost everything else is packaged and canned and pre-recorded way down the road. So it just it's interesting to see how what develops as a result of limitations. In early television, there were certain kinds of outfits that you had to wear and couldn't wear simply because of the black and white cameras and how certain colors or certain patterns would just completely mess with the pictures. Likewise, way back in the day, I mean, this goes before any of my commercials, but back in the day with silent movies into the development of sound, and you have a whole string of actors who were huge in the silent movie era, who simply didn't move into the sound movie era because their voices didn't work. They couldn't speak, didn't speak properly, didn't sound right, had weird accents, stuttered, did all sorts of possible things. And you actually see that quite a bit where the limitation of the lack of sound was what allowed them to flourish as a performer. So it's one of the reasons I do all the old commercials is that I just love I love to see the history of what's happening, what was involved with doing it. I like to see the sociology behind what people were trying to sell to other people, what people wanted to buy, how that was being sold. I think is fascinating. So yeah, I just love it, and being from different eras, you just get to see amazing things. At some point in the near future, there's going to be a whole bunch of commercials starring the cast and crew from the Brady Bunch coming up on my stream. I found like an hour's worth of Brady Bunch promos, commercials starring the cast members, commercials starring hangers-on. It's great. There's like a 4 minutes of commercials specifically dedicated to the actress who played Fake Jan in the variety show hour after the original show went off the air. That's how comprehensive this collection of Brady Bunch ad material that I found is. There's pretty much everything. There is one of the most 70s ads you could possibly imagine, starring perm-haired Greg Brady, advertising Shasta soda. It's like awesomeness cubed. I mean, there's just awesome on so many levels. You can't awesomely bad on so many levels. You just can't imagine. It's just some absolutely wonderful commercials that we found. And one of the things I found interesting looking through them as well, and I mean, I'm sure I'll talk more about this when I actually show them, but there's a couple of examples of, I'm going to say, products that Brady sponsorship killed. I mean, maybe it wasn't Brady sponsorship that killed it, but there's at least two that I can specifically think of off the top of my head. The Shasta one that I just mentioned with I mean, Shasta's. There'll be people of my age that vaguely remember Shasta being a thing at one point in time, but I'm pretty sure it is no longer a thing. I'll have to do some research and find out if it even exists and is being sold anymore. But I mean, there was a time when they were like trying to compete with the Cokes and the Pepsis of the world, and that didn't really ever happen. I don't know whether Greg Brady's sponsorship was specifically the issue or not, but that commercial couldn't have helped, I gotta say. And then follow that right up with Jan Brady, middle sister Jan Brady, who no one ever pays attention to, getting to advertise for the now obviously Ant-Man. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Just telling a story about the Brady commercials that I found. Yeah, so she's advertising the now globally franchised and hugely popular chain of Burger Chef. So yeah, that's one of the cool things about these is there's actually some products that I'm pretty sure Brady sponsorship literally killed. So that'll be fun to watch at a later date. It's good to see you, Ant-Man. Thank you for coming by, stopping in. We had a pretty inglorious finish to our NL cash ticket. Ended up with a set of 10s on a 9-10 jack board that didn't end well when we got our money in against the guy with King Queen. So that was a 4NL ticket done. I mean, I probably didn't need to play it as aggressively as I did, but it was just a spot. I raised cutoff with 10s, small blind 3-bets me, pretty chunky 3-bet, like 3x I think it was. I called behind in position. The flop comes 9-10 jack. He checks. I bet a half pot bet, and he shoves over top of me for just a little bit more than my 497 stack at that point, I think it was. So it was a very chunky shove for sure. And I'm thinking that I'm pretty sure I'm always up against King Queen or a bluff at that point. That said, I could be up against 9s, and I could be up against a set of 9s. I could be up against, say, jacks at the same time. So I mean, there's a few ways that I could be okay. There's a few ways I could be in deep trouble. I don't think he's really doing that with any pairs that haven't hit that board. Although maybe queens with the open-ended draw to go along with it, he might as well. But I decided to call it off at that point because, I mean, at that point I'm facing, do I fold a set here, which seems really exploitable, or am I just in a spot where, you know, I either he's got it and he wins when I don't hit my house or quads, or I snap him off and he's got his he's on a bluff or a semi bluff. I just frankly, I don't really think I could have done anything else there. And I ended up losing my money. But it's the way it goes. So obviously putting in a raise here with my ace on the big blind. And I'm probably snap calling any action, of course, because we do have the best hand pre-flop. I kind of hate those spots because when you got people with bigger stacks ahead of you, and yes, I just always get a bad feeling about about getting my money in on the bubble like that, even with aces, because it's like anything can happen. You're only 80-20 there, to in the best case scenario kind of thing. So. Yeah, I guess maybe it wouldn't be. It was massive over here. I mean, in a way that's hard to imagine today. It really, like when I was like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. Um, it was not possible to not know about or have an opinion on the Bradys. You might hate them, you might love them, you might think they were the most absurd thing in the world. You might think that they were a cutesy family, but there was no way that you were a North American and didn't have some sort of an opinion on slash feelings for the Bradys of some kind. I was one of the people that kind of watched the show, and I mean, I can remember thinking as a 7-year-old watching the Brady Bunch and wondering why they were putting on such a juvenile program, such an immaturely written kind of program. And I mean, literally, I can remember thinking this as like a 7 and an 8-year-old sitting and watching the program. So clearly, it was not a program that was ever written like at a high level for and when you go back and watch it now, it is really not really good TV. I mean, there's stuff you can go back and catch from that time that does turn out to be really good TV. I mean, All in the Family still, although there's some cringeworthy moments and things like All in the Family, there's still some great stuff from there. I mean, we're still watching all the old Doctor Who's. If you want to take a British example, we're still watching. I mean, I'm still watching Doctor Who's going back to William Hartnell. So there's lots of old stuff from that. Things like the Brady Bunch don't hold up, but what I find fascinating about it is they were so culturally pervasive over here at the time, and it's just kind of awful, really. And everybody kind of knew they were kind of awful at the time as well. But Partridge Family would be another nice example, and I'm hoping I can find some similar examples from the Partridge Family, because they were also like ubiquitous across the commercialization kind of thing. So I'm hoping I can find some Partridge Family stuff as well, but it's fun. I actually found, and unfortunately I buried it in my clips, so I have to go looking for it now. But and this has nothing to do with the Brady Bunch. More has to do with my previous life as a computer system administrator. I found an ad from like 1955 for the newfangled payroll system on the Univac 2 mainframe computer, where they've got lovely illustrations of vacuum tubes to illustrate how high tech everything is. It's like one of the most. I love it to bits. Found a bunch of ads that look like they're from the late 60s or early 70s for electronic calculators from Sharp as well, that are just wonderfully old kitschy and stuff. I'll have some fun with that. I also just noticed, actually, a little while ago, I just noticed that there's a feature on Twitch that lets me, it may not have been active before I became an affiliate yesterday, but there's a feature that lets me do replays and rebroadcasts. And there's a 25 game that I played on Full Tilt a couple of years ago when I was doing a stream called Anything But Hold'em, that I think I might throw up here at some point, maybe over the weekend, and I'll rerun it and do a recap where I can chat and stream with y'all, and maybe have my own voice going on over top of it. Although I'm already talking in the previous stream, so maybe we'll just leave that and I'll just chat in the chat box with everybody. But we can play it in real time as well, so everything's there. But that might be fun. That was a really fun tournament. It was it was a 25 game tournament at Full Tilt. It's part of the mini F tops that they did. There was a bigger one. I wasn't playing that high games at the time, but it was a $22 buy-in, and ended up eighth for a couple of $100 in it. Actually, it was a pretty nice score in it. But that was back at the time when I was playing a ton of mixed games, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to do that well and something like that anymore because I just don't play that. Don't play those games as much anymore. Although there's a ton of games in that one that I'd never even played before. I'd never played Ace to Five before in that one. I'd never played Five Card Stud, at least not online. In that one I played Five Card Stud a couple of times live, I think, but not live in a real setting. Live in a like in a buddy's bachelor party, drunken poker game type setting that really didn't matter and nobody really knew what they were doing, kind of thing. And there was the one that just kind of made me shake my head and go, who thought of this idea? There was No Limit, Deuce to Seven. Nothing too unusual about that, but it was No Limit, Deuce to Seven, Triple Draw. Now, normally the Triple Draw is limit because otherwise it just gets to be a absurdly massive game. And yeah, it was like an absurdly massive round with the Deuce to Seven Triple Draw. No Limit. What else did they have in that one that was fun? There was either a 5 or a 6 card PLO game. It was high-low as well. So you're working through the combinations of 2 out of 6 or 5. I think it was 6 cards in your hand. Plus you're working out all the highs and all the low combinations. It just nearly made my head explode for those rounds, but it was a ton of fun to play. Yeah, it was great fun. So I think I'm gonna do a replay of that one at some point, and we can watch it and have some fun. As much as Full Tilt was a steaming pile of garbage financially and so on, they did run some fun games from time to time. And actually, by the time I was playing that would have been 2014 or 2015. I can't remember which one. I'd have to look at the video again. But that was after everything went to hell in a handbasket, and that was after Stars bought them and sort of bailed them out. Pair of deuces. We are still on the money bubble here in the dark matter. These bubbles can certainly go on for a while. And one of the things is when I always say, when I've got the small stack and I'm the one hovering around on the bubble, and I'm always saying, you just don't get too crazy because people with bigger stacks can lose their head and go out of it. That's what I have to be wary of right now. Is I'm one of those people now that could easily be the next person out if I get into a weird spot against Glog or against Cibulari, and it'd be really annoying if I was the next person out at this point and ended up bubbling this tournament from this spot. That would be very frustrating. So I don't want to be that guy that lets one of the small stacks get into the money for free because I'm an idiot. So let's be clear about that. I don't want to be that guy. That might cause me to play more or less aggressively than I should. Like in this case where I'm folding suited ace in the small blind to a min raise, but I think I'm going to do it anyways. don't even have to do something stupid at this point. You have to do something unnecessary. That's where it comes down. I mean, there are times when you have no choice but to do things. I mean, that's never true in poker. You always have a choice, obviously. But there are times when clearly the best move is going to be to take the risk. But yeah, I don't necessarily think that's always going to be where you need to be focused at this point in the tournament. I do think I need to be punishing some of the smaller people, but I'm not really in a great seat spot to be doing that. I can potentially punish Steven Teagle a little bit, and I can punish Loof a little bit from where I am. But it's really hard for me to get to the other small stacks from where I am because I'm going through Sabulari in position first. And they're not going to be an easy one to take down. So, and they'll stack us. So that's dangerous. Wow. Here we go. We are in the money. We are in the money. Guaranteed 39 cents now. 304 up top. Cool. We'll do some. I'll throw up some old. Some of the old mixed game stuff from the anything but Hold'em days. I'd still love to do more of that. I wish I had more than one option of where I could go to do that. That's my problem right now. I wish there was more online poker sites that offered a wider range of games than just the Hold'em and Omaha stuff. I mean, I understand they probably don't get the volume of players, and I mean even Stars doesn't. When I was playing, I'd play some of the $3 and $11 horse events and things like that, and if we got 60 people, it would be surprising. And that's obviously on Stars, where a No Limit Hold'em tournament gets 1,000 or 1,200 runners, usually. So, yeah, it's definitely it's probably hard to keep the games running unless you have a certain base of players, because if you've got let's say Stars can field a field of 100 players for a horse with their player base. Well, if you got a player base of 10% less, or of 10% of Stars, then you're going to be able to field 10 players typically into a horse if you just take the averages. So I can sort of see why a site that doesn't have necessarily the same player pool wouldn't be able to run something like that, but still be nice to see some of it. Put in a raise with our 8s. We've already laddered up one spot. We got a 3-bet from Sabuli. And I think we check shove over his bet. Wow, I guess we don't check shove over his bat. Alrighty, so we're done in 7th place for 49 cents, I guess, because our 8s were beat by kings. Kind of would have been nice if there was a couple of higher cards on that, so I could have gotten away from it. But you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Still, not a terrible result. We made the cash anyways, which is nice. That was the only thing we cashed in today, though, so we didn't actually make a profit on the day. We lost 16 cents on the day. So, but hey, that's life. You know, poker is ups and downs. Still sitting at a current bankroll of 48.83, which is like 50 cents under our max bankroll, 49.33 that we hit the other day. Still would be nice to kind of crack that 50 euro mark. It's not really significant in a dollar sense, but it's sort of psychologically significant, I guess. So that'd be cool at some point. But I'm sure that will happen shortly. And I'm gonna sign off for now. But we'll catch you all. We'll catch you all soon. Thank you for coming by. We will see you soon.